think the WWE Draft is live, man? Night one. Night one. The night that will change the landscape of WWE. Says only Michael Cole. What exactly changed tonight? I don't know what changed tonight. I don't know exactly what these geeks in the community are thinking is gonna change. Well, we got the draft tonight. We're gonna go over all the picks, whether they made sense or not. Here's a hint, they didn't. What WWE could have done better. Why WWE lacks creativity. Why they are creatively bankrupt. And we're gonna go over Sasha Banks and Bayley, man. The SmackDown Women's Championship was on the line. And it ended exactly how we all thought it would. Never mind the draft. Draft me to creative. Draft me to serious. This is the #1 podcast in all of the IWC, whether you like it or not. This is the SmackDown Post Show right here on Off the Script. What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. This is your SmackDown Post Show. The 2020 Draft Night 1 has already concluded. What did you guys think of the draft tonight? Man, let me tell you something. I don't even know how to attack this, man. I don't want to come off like a fucking nagging cunt. I really don't. You know, but it's in my nature to complain. It's in my nature to call out WWE on the things that they do and the things that they don't do. But the 2020 draft supposedly was supposed to shape the landscape of WWE to its core. After tonight, I don't really understand what that even means. What are you shaking and what are you changing? You're not changing anything. You're not changing anything. This is my opening monologue, I would say, a cold open, right, to the show before we get into what we got to talk about. What are they changing? What exactly are they changing? I see all these geeks in the community. I see everybody. I could have did it. In fact, I think you guys would have probably enjoyed something with Jesse and I if we actually came on here and did something before the show, right? On a Wednesday or Thursday. We went live on YouTube, on Off the Script, and we came up with a mock draft. Or if I came on here by myself and I gave you guys a mock draft and I took every eligible WWE superstar and I gave you my opinion on where they should go and where they shouldn't go, why and why not. Future feuds I would put together. Maybe next year I'll do it. Maybe next year if there's a draft, I'll do it. But everybody in the community was doing these mock drafts and getting excited about the draft. Now, I'm not saying you guys can't get excited about the draft. I'm not saying that you can't get excited about what you're watching on WWE television. But the fact of the matter remains, folks, the fact of the matter remains, and if you don't want to hear the words that are coming out of my mouth because they hurt or they make your little stance on the product and it puts a negative light on whatever you think and you don't want to really sit there and listen to the negativity, it's too real for you. The reality of the situation is something that you're scared of. Folks, the landscape of WWE will never change unless Vince McMahon, Kevin Dunn, and Bruce Pritchard, and everybody that has Vince McMahon's left and right testicle in the palm of their hands, and they tickle them whenever he says go, are removed. I don't understand the excitement around the draft when nothing really changes at the end of the day. I mean, just look at what WWE did tonight. They drafted Seth Rollins to SmackDown. Great. Now we have the Friday Night Messiah. It doesn't have that roll off the tongue like the Monday Night Messiah does. But now we got the Friday Night Messiah. So I'm thinking, all right, we got Seth Rollins on SmackDown. He's finally away from Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio and the Leah and Rey's wife, whatever the fuck her name is. I forgot her name. She's irrelevant to the story anyway. He's away from the Mysterios, right? And then what does WWE do? WWE drafts Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio, and I assume the entire Mysterio family, over to SmackDown. So please tell me how the landscape of WWE changed in that draft pick. Then you got the geeks out there, oh, but they got to continue the storyline. Storyline from what? Last year? These guys have been feuding since December of 2019. We're going on a full fucking year. How many more matches do you want to see? I can't take it anymore. But that's the creative bankruptcy that is WWE creative. That's it. So when you want to tell me the landscape of WWE has changed, then all I need to do is pull up that little draft pick, and your point is irrelevant. Nothing will change because it's only going to be different faces on different shows, for the most part, with the same writing team writing for the talent. I don't really understand where the excitement comes in. You do realize that the writing teams remain unchanged. So what exactly are you getting excited about? Bad writing is bad writing. Shitty storytelling is shitty storytelling. If you had the writers writing what they've written all year so far, and you take wrestler A and put him on another show, and you take wrestler B and put him on the opposite show, what exactly do you expect to change? They can't write now. You expect them to write for these talents moving forward? Has WWE given you any glimmer of hope as far as writing creative storylines on Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown? The answer is no. So why exactly are you mocking a draft? Why exactly are you getting excited? When at the end of the day, it's nothing but the same shit. The landscape of WWE remains the same. The draft itself didn't even change from last year when they did it. They did nothing different. Same look, same logo. You figured that they would change the fucking logo for 2020. That's the same logo. Stephanie McMahon comes out. I know some of you geeks out there, oh, Stephanie is a MILF. Stephanie is hot. Triple H. I get it. You like to see Stephanie McMahon. Great. Stephanie McMahon was out there. She was the master of ceremonies tonight for the WWE draft. And it's as if WWE is burdened by actually wanting or trying to be creative. They did absolutely nothing different from last year's draft. Now, I will say this. The 2016 draft, if you want to use that same cheesy, cringy catch line, the landscape of WWE has changed. The 2016 draft, I would actually apply that to. That changed the landscape of WWE. We were all excited. Remember Finn Balor, right? Finn Balor winning that Fatal 4-Way, beating Roman Reigns on the night he got drafted to go to SummerSlam and fight Seth Rollins to be the inaugural Universal Champion. Remember SmackDown in 2016? Oh my God, SmackDown got shafted. SmackDown got nobody. They got all the leftovers while Raw had to fill 3 hours, and they loaded Raw up because that was the number one show in 2016 on WWE. Raw, that was Vince's baby. SmackDown got all the newbies. It was where the land of opportunity was then on SmackDown. It was almost like an incubation process, SmackDown in 2016. And they actually ended up being the better of both shows, to be quite honest with you. And that was some of the best WWE SmackDown shows that they've ever produced. That was an era of SmackDown that I thoroughly enjoyed. Ryan Ward's SmackDown, where Vince McMahon really didn't have any influence because things made sense, things were important, things on a week-to-week basis were consistent and relevant. There was logic. There was no Bruce. And then Jinder Mahal won the WWE title, and then that show went to shit. But we had a nice little 6-month stretch in 2019. That landscape changed because SmackDown was actually doing better numbers in the ratings than Monday Night Raw, which WWE didn't really call for. They didn't predict. But that's what happens when you write good storytelling. That's what happens when you write television that people want to see. They will be back the next week and the week after and the week after and the week after. The landscape changed then. This is not changing the landscape. Absolutely nothing changed tonight. WWE went about doing everything literally the same way, and it didn't feel different at all. It's as if WWE was almost forced to do the draft. That's the way it came off to me, because they know that the current television right now is absolutely abysmal. And they cannot carry on with these rosters and these current storylines anymore. I mean, just look at Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw was literally a repeat. You could have reached into Vince McMahon's trash bin and pull out the fucking script from 4 weeks ago, and it's the same fucking show. In fact, I would not be surprised if that's exactly what they did on Monday night, because nobody wants to fucking work. Nothing changed. Nothing changed. In fact, these moves, there were maybe 1 or 2 moves that actually got me excited. On tonight's show, 1 or 2 moves that got me excited. We're going to go over what they are tonight. We're going to go over who was drafted, who was not drafted, and what WWE could have done differently as far as the draft goes. So it's going to be a big night. We got a lot of people in the chat here, man. 1,500 right now live. 346 likes. Thank you guys so very much for making us. I'm assuming we're number 1 tonight. Hoop Media, are we number 1, man? I think that's a silly question to ask. There you go. Number 1 by a country mile, man. But we seem to be missing some thumbs up, says Hoop Media in the chat. There's 1,500 people, guys. There should be 1,500 thumbs up, because if you're watching me, you want to be here. Maybe not. Some of you people are watching me just to clip whatever I say and then post it on your Twitter and get your 15 seconds of fame, which is fine, because I love when all of you geeks hang on to every word that I say, because you know that I'm right. Oh, what is JD going to say tonight? I hate him, but I'm going to watch him. I love it. I love it. SmackDown tonight, besides the draft, man, we got Sasha Banks and Bayley. SmackDown Women's Championship. I think we all knew where that one was going. So we're going to go over that and why I really... Listen, I get what WWE's doing. I didn't necessarily like what they did tonight with Sasha and Bayley, but I get it. I do get it. I don't know where WWE is going to go with Bayley on Raw or SmackDown. There were, like I said, there were some superstars that were not eligible to be drafted tonight. They split everybody into 2 different pools. So that's exactly what they did. And we'll start at the top with that, because that is just a little silly in my eyes, and one of the things that WWE should really change moving forward for the draft. We got The Fiend making his first live television appearance on either a Raw or SmackDown in ring. Tonight he went one-on-one with Kevin Owens. Not bad for The Fiend at all, but I think that was more of a showcase match because I do think he's ending up on Monday Night Raw. And I think Kevin Owens is staying on SmackDown. Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston, Big E, they were reunited tonight, and they were on SmackDown. They got a freebie tonight. I don't know why. And then WWE pulled the unpredictable card on us. Whether they do the right thing or not remains to be seen. But they had the opportunity to do the right thing with the Profits and Cesaro Nakamura a couple weeks ago, going into Clash of Champions. They did not pull the trigger. Tonight, the New Day battled Cesaro and Nakamura for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. And in an unpredictable move, the Tag Team Championships are now on the New Day. And then the New Day got drafted to Monday Night Raw with the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. So, one of two things I'm thinking here in regards to that situation, and it may actually apply to Bayley as well. So we'll see what happens with that moving forward. So that was also on the show tonight. Lars Sullivan made his return after what seemed like many months, eons ago, since we seen him. It may trigger some people that he's back, but Lars Sullivan is back on WWE television. He showed up tonight on the draft and attacked Jeff Hardy and Matt Riddle. He will be eligible to be drafted on Monday, and we'll find out where he goes in the WWE draft. And then Big E, Sheamus, Falls Count Anywhere match. We'll go over that as well. Also, another promo by Roman Reigns and Jey Uso heading into their match with each other at Hell in a Cell. So that is what we're going to go over, guys. Again, thank you so very much for making us the number one stream in the IWC. We got 1,500, almost 1,600 people in the live chat right now. Super chats are open, so get them on in. Get those super chats in. We'll hang out at the end of the show like we always do and take your questions. So the super chats are open, man. Follow me on Twitter at JD from NY206. Make sure you guys do that. And what is this in the chat? JD fans are like cult members. Weird as fuck. I guess I have to watch with the chat turned off. Here you go, Leah M. Now you can chat by not saying anything at all. Get the fuck out of my chat. Anyway, I love everybody in my chat. They're not cult members. They actually know what's right, unlike you, who just takes WWE schlong up the ass and in the mouth, and you don't have any brain power to question anything that they do because everything is so great. Everything is so great in the WWE universe. Sure it is. That's why I'm here. To give you a lesson. Make sure now that you're benched in the chat that you have your pen and your pad ready. Because you're not going to hear what you hear on another fucking show in the community. Anyway, follow me on Twitter at JD from NY206. That's Twitter and Instagram. Hit that thumbs up. I love when the chat loves when I shit on somebody. Hit that thumbs up, man. Great way to help out the show. Definitely gets the video seen by more in the algorithm on YouTube when you hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. We are dangerously close to 119,000 subscribers, man. Thank you guys so very much for being a part of the podcast and the family here on Off the Script. If you missed any videos that I've uploaded this week, a couple of them, man. We got Monday Night Raw. Mustafa Ali is the leader of Retribution, or is he? We don't really know yet. But he aligned himself with Retribution. We talked about that on the live stream Monday, so go and check that out. That is on demand if you guys want to go back and watch that if you missed it. AEW was live on Wednesday night. The dog collar match between Cody and Brody Lee. Jesse and I were live on YouTube on Off the Script with the AEW Dynamite post show talking about that, so go and check that out. I uploaded today, actually, a Off the Script extra talking about some big stories, man. Two of which actually came true, so I'm glad that I actually got that out when I did. Hell in a Cell is going to have 3 Hell in a Cell matches Sasha, Bayley, Roman, Jey Uso, and Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton for the WWE Championship. And Retribution is missing a member, and it is now confirmed that one of the members of Retribution got away lucky, and they are getting sent back down to NXT. So go and check that out. That is going to be well worth your time. Chock full of information on today's Off the Script Extra. That will be linked down below in the description of this very video, or you guys can go surf the channel. It should be the most recent of uploads on the channel, so go and check all of that out. You can support the show in a variety of ways. Number one, Patreon. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. Great way to support the show is the Patreon page. We should be redoing that in the weeks to come leading in the holiday season. Should be something really, really cool and really special, so make sure you guys go and check that out. We got mouthmasker.com for the official off-the-script masks. We got the new black masks in stock. Mouthmasker.com/OTS. Go and get your face coverings. We got bonfire.com. Go and check out the official shop on Bonfire for all your off-the-script merchandise. That is down in the description as well if you guys want to go and get yourself a t-shirt. We've been selling a couple of shirts every day, man, which is something I like to see, so go and get your t-shirts. Bonfire.com, the exclusive home of Off the Script. And today's podcast is brought to you by Harry's and Harry's Shave Equipment for Men, man. Harry's.com/script. We got Harry sponsoring the show as always. You guys can get their newest, sharpest blades ever and a trial set, complimentary trial set to try it out today for yourself just by signing up using harrys.com/script. So make sure you guys go and check that out as well. I would appreciate that. Every little bit helps when you help out one of my sponsors, and Harry's has been with me for 4 years. All right, guys, let me start at the top here. I might as well start with the draft talk because I got everything written in the itinerary and the notes in a nice little order here. The rules of the draft. The rules of the WWE Draft for Raw and SmackDown. This was reported by Fox Sports. The rules are as follows. Over 60 male superstars, female superstars, and tag teams have been placed into the 2020 WWE Draft. More than 20 superstars are eligible to be drafted on Friday night, and more than 30 superstars are eligible to be drafted on Monday night. Due to the length of each show, for the 2 picks that SmackDown selects, Raw will get 3. So for every 2 SmackDown picks, Raw will get 3 picks. Tag teams will count as 1 unless Fox or USA Network, unless Vince McMahon wants to break up yet another tag team and further diminish and ruin his tag team division. In conjunction with WWE officials, unless they want 1 superstar from said team. Any undrafted superstars will immediately be declared free agents and able to sign with the brand of their choosing. WWE superstar, well, that's what they say. It's all on WWE's watch. It's all up to the discretion of WWE. If Chad Gable isn't drafted, is Chad Gable going to get to pick to go to Monday Night Raw? No. It's going to be up to Bruce. And at that point, it's up to Bruce to remember that he's actually got Chad Gable employed. So no, it's not up to the free agent to choose whichever brand, which we all know. WWE superstars have been split into eligible pools for the Friday and Monday episodes of the draft. Conversations have been ongoing between WWE officials, Fox, USA Network, and WWE social media to stay up to date on the latest moves in the draft. So these are the names that were placed in Friday's pool. If you were wondering why Bayley wasn't drafted tonight like many of you were, it's because she got placed in the Monday pool. So they split up Sasha and Bayley being drafted on the same night. I know a lot of you guys were thinking the same thing that I was thinking. Why was Dana Brooke drafted over Bayley? Why was Sasha Banks drafted over Bayley? And Bayley's the SmackDown Women's Champion. It's because WWE placed her in the Monday pool, so she was not eligible to be drafted tonight. Now, these are the names that were drafted tonight. In no particular order. We're going to go over which show they went on in just a little bit. Asuka, Sasha Banks, Bianca Belair, Dana Brooke, Humberto! Carrillo. Humberto Carrillo. Angel Garza. Drew Gulak. Heavy Machinery. Otis and Tucker. The Hurt Business. Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, Cedric Alexander, and MVP. Mickie James. The Lucha House Party. Kalisto, Grema Talik, and Lindsay Dorado. I don't think they were drafted on the show tonight. I don't think they were actually on SmackDown. But WWE did say that the Talking Smack show, I believe, will actually have some draft picks happening on that show tomorrow morning on the WWE Network as well. So they may end up over there. Drew McIntyre, The Miz and John Morrison, Buddy Murphy, Ray and Dominic Mysterio, Naomi, The New Day, Big E, Kofi Kingston, and Xavier Woods, Roman Reigns, Ricochet, Seth Rollins, Mandy Rose, Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax, Shorty G, AJ Styles, and Jay Uso. So that is that. And then the Monday pool. This is who's going to be drafted on Monday. Andrade, Bayley, Aleister Black, a.k.a. Solid Snake, a.k.a. Splinter Cell, Alexa Bliss, Daniel Bryan, Carmella, Baron, I shall not call him King Corbin, Apollo Crews, Nikki Cross, Dabba Kato, Dabba Dabba Doo, Dabba Kato, Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode, Elias. Does anybody remember him? I don't care. Eric of the Viking Raiders, Lacey Evans, Charlotte Flair. She's getting a state-of-the-art battery inserted in her membrane. She's going to be ready to go. Charlotte Flair is going to be on Monday. Hopefully they draft her away from WWE. Everybody would be a lot happier. Jeff Hardy, Billy Kay, Lana with the announce table, Keith Lee, limited Keith Lee, Riddick Moss, Natalia, catering. That's Titus, by the way. Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, R-Truth, Retribution. That includes Mustafa Ali, Mace, Slapjack, Reckoning, which is Mia Yim, by the way, and Teabag, which is Dominic Dijakovic, by the way, Matt Riddle, the Riot Squad, Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan, Peyton Royce, Arturo Rujas, who was on Raw Underground, Sheamus, Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro, the Street Profits, Braun Strowman, Lars Sullivan, which we've seen tonight. So everybody thought that, I even thought that Lars Sullivan showed up on SmackDown, that he was going to be a part of SmackDown. But actually, he showed up, beat down Jeff Hardy, beat down Matt Riddle, and then WWE put him in the pool on Monday. I don't know why that was a necessary thing to do, but this is Bruce Pritchard at the end of the day, folks. I don't question, I just shit on it. Tamina Snuka, she's in the draft. Why don't you draft her to unemployment? That's where she belongs. Akira Tozawa, Zelina Vega, Bray Wyatt, and Sami Zayn. That is the pool for Monday. That's a lot of talent on Monday. Now, WWE actually left off some very notable superstars from this list, folks, which I'm going to go over right now because, like a gentleman, I got to keep you guys informed, and I'm very detailed in everything that I do. This is why we are number one on a weekly basis here. John Cena. John Cena hasn't been around for a while. And he wasn't included in last year's WWE draft either. So he's just out there. He's one of those guys that's going to float wherever they need him. Wherever the ratings are bleeding and hemorrhaging, that's where John Cena will be. Becky Lynch, she's out of action. Currently pregnant and due in December. So Becky Lynch is with that elite list. She'll show up wherever WWE needs her. Goldberg, He wasn't included in the WWE draft this year, but he's not done with WWE as he's got more years on his contract, which means we got 4 more matches with Goldberg in the coming years. Oh, great. Great. I can't wait, man. Goldberg on TV. Oh, man. Said nobody ever. Big Show wasn't in the draft last year. He wasn't in last year's draft, but he was on Monday Night Raw. So I guess wherever WWE needs him. Edge is out of action with a tricep injury. Samoa Joe is on commentary and currently on the Raw brand. He just recently said his in-ring career isn't over yet. Oh, really? Oh, really? I'm hearing Retribution might need another one for the Survivor Series. Wink, wink. The Forgotten Sons. They are truly forgotten. Jackson Riker's unfortunate tweets about a ton of shit. They got in trouble because of him. Sonya Deville, she lost a loser leaves WWE match at SummerSlam, so they're still playing that up. She'll be back soon. She's way too talented to not be on a brand. Jinder Mahal, he's out of action with an injury again. Good, stay out. Bo Dallas hasn't been around since December 2019. You know, I reported something that Alexa Bliss might be leading, or actually, I shouldn't say might be, because it's not really in the plans, but Mark Henry said Alexa Bliss should lead a stable as a mouthpiece, whether it's male talent or female talent. I don't know why Bo Dallas is not with that Bray Wyatt gimmick. I don't know why Bo is not with his brother in the Funhouse. That would be something that I think would be very interesting. The Singh brothers, does anybody even realize these guys are still employed? They're stuck in Canada. They can't travel because of the pandemic. Mojo Rawley has not been given a show. I don't know why. He's not on either show. He wasn't in either pool. Maybe WWE is trying to tell Mojo Rawley something, that his 5-year contract was something that they regret. Jimmy Uso, but he's injured. So wherever Jay is, I'm sure Jimmy Uso will be right there. And Jay got drafted to SmackDown, so I'm assuming Jimmy's going to end up on SmackDown. Ivar, he was left out of the pool because he's injured. Eric is injured as well. So both Viking Raiders are out, but Eric is in Monday's pool to be drafted. And it was also notable that no NXT names are on the list. Other names that were previously thought to be in the draft: Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae after TakeOver 31. We had Adam Cole, possibly Undisputed Era. There were even some rumors of Finn Balor being called back up to the main roster. None of those names have been added to the list of eligible names for the draft. So that is what's going on there. That's the rules, and that is what's happening with the draft come Monday. But on social media, we'll probably get some news alerts via WWE on Twitter, and we'll probably get the draft continuing all weekend long into Talking Smack on into Monday Night Raw, even probably after Monday Night Raw, possibly on Raw Talk, etc., etc. So WWE is going to make a whole weekend out of the 2020 draft. Now, WWE was dealing with unhappiness from USA and Fox during the draft. You heard me mention Fox and USA. They do have a say in what happens in the draft. They do have a say on who ends up on what show. If Fox wants somebody, WWE will have to listen. If USA Network wants somebody, they will have to listen. If USA and Fox want the same person, then there's an issue. WWE is going to have to do what's best for creative and what makes sense. So, Ringside News was told by a tenured member of the writing team that USA Network and Fox might not be happy to lose key names that they want on their show. They will complain as they complain about everything. We were told they would eventually get over it. So, Drew McIntyre is the foundation of Raw. Roman Reigns is the foundation of SmackDown. That being said, the networks would especially not be happy with either of those two moves and losing either of those names. Now, it's impossible to make everybody at Fox and USA happy, but I think if I'm Fox and USA Network, I'm going to reevaluate on what is actually making me unhappy. I don't know, USA Network, what you're thinking. You're worried about WWE making a move that you might not be happy with. Why don't you look at the 1.6 rating that you're bringing in on a weekly basis and how terrible the creative is for the fucking show on a weekly basis? But you're unhappy with losing a fucking talent on the show. What difference does a talent make in making the show better when the writing team is going to bury the talent regardless? Same thing with SmackDown. What was SmackDown's debut rating? A 4? Where are we now? Barely a 1.9. No, but I'm unhappy about losing Dana Brooke. Or I'm unhappy about losing somebody. Sasha Banks or an Asuka. Give me a fucking break. You got bigger things to worry about than losing a fucking talent. Doesn't matter where they go. You can have them on the show, and WWE, at the end of the day, will do nothing with them. So yes, there'll be unhappiness, but they have to realize that there are bigger things to worry about than moving a talent that you might not want to leave the show. Now, one of the other things that WWE was taking into serious consideration with the draft is the mindset of couples. There are a lot of couples on the show. So what was WWE going to do with possibly splitting couples up, which is exactly what they did tonight, I think, in some of the situations. Bianca Belair got moved to SmackDown from Raw. She is married to Montez Ford of the Street Profits. So right then and there, they already split up a couple on the show. Now, Ringside News has also been told by a tenured member of the writing team that WWE is trying to keep people in relationships on the same brand once again this year. The key word is try. I wish they would try to write a good show. The main roster features several couples, including Rollins, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Andrade, Montez Ford, Bianca Belair, Keith Lee and Mia Yim, who is now reckoning in Retribution, so on and so forth. Aleister Black and Zelina Vega, so on and so forth. Since WWE doesn't have a touring schedule, it makes things a bit easier if the couple is separated right now. But it's never an ideal situation because we don't know when WWE will begin touring. Florida just entered stage 3 of the reopening of the state phase. And WWE might possibly be looking at touring again. It won't be entire United States touring, but at least they have Florida to work with, and it might be statewide touring. So we don't know what WWE has planned. You know that they're thinking about possible venues, fans, WrestleMania, Royal Rumble season. Before you know it, folks, it's going to be Halloween. Before you know it, it's going to be Thanksgiving, Christmas, and by the time that's all over, we'll be talking about the Royal Rumble. That will be here like that. Like that. So WWE, they are trying to keep all the couples together, but they know that it's something that they could probably get away with because they're not currently touring right now. So that's that. That was something that I know a lot of people were thinking about as well. So I wanted to throw that in there with the rules and regulations of the WWE Draft. I got other news on SmackDown, but we'll hit that as the show goes on. I wanted to set the tone for the draft. As soon as the show opened up, we seen Stephanie McMahon. She came out onto the ramp, stood at the podium, and announced the first round of the WWE Draft. Raw is getting Drew McIntyre. He was their number 1 pick, and rightfully so. WWE Champion stays on Monday Night Raw. Asuka. They are getting Asuka. She is the Raw Women's Champion, rightfully so. And they got the Hurt Business. So they got all members of the Hurt Business. They got Shelton Benjamin, MVP, Cedric Alexander, and Bobby Lashley with the United States Championship. Now, I want to throw this out there to you guys because it really doesn't make any sense to me. I'm not about champions leaving shows, especially when it's pretty common knowledge that they're not going anywhere. I mean, we got a pay-per-view at the end of the month. And Drew McIntyre is defending the WWE Championship against Randy Orton inside Hell in a Cell. So if Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre have this match on October 25th and it's October 9th right now, Why would anybody think that Drew McIntyre is going to be drafted to SmackDown with the WWE Championship? I don't really understand that. And then you look in the same pick in the first round that Raw has. They drafted Asuka to Monday Night Raw with the Raw Women's Championship. Why would anybody watching this show think that WWE would take Asuka and draft her to SmackDown as the Raw Women's Champion? Doesn't really make sense to me. I don't know why champions like that are names eligible for the draft to be drafted. In fact, you're actually wasting a pick by announcing a pick that we all know you would have made anyway. Why are these men and women being drafted when they shouldn't even be a choice? They're on your brand. They are representing your brand as your brand's champion, and they got feuds coming up. At least Drew McIntyre does, not Asuka. I don't know what the fuck she's doing on Monday Night Raw, but Drew McIntyre has a feud going into the end of the month. Why would he be going anywhere? So why are you wasting a pick on somebody that you don't need to pick? Is what I'm trying to explain to you. That's the one thing I would change moving forward. So we got the Hurt Business. We got all four guys in the Hurt Business. They didn't want to split them up. I don't know how that makes anything fair here for SmackDown. What if SmackDown wanted Bobby Lashley? What if SmackDown wanted Cedric Alexander? Just going to take one pick and have it include four guys? I understand the tag team, but a whole fucking group? Come on. It's got to be some different situation where you can make sense of that. I just find that very difficult to believe. SmackDown. SmackDown's getting Roman Reigns, just like I talked about with Drew McIntyre and Asuka. Why would Roman Reigns be going anywhere? Roman Reigns is your Universal Champion. He's feuding with Jey Uso. So I don't understand why they're wasting a pick on Roman Reigns when Roman Reigns is on the brand already as the Universal Champion. The championship is fucking blue. Where's he going? And then WWE put Seth Rollins on SmackDown. Seth Rollins was drafted to SmackDown. He is no longer the Monday Night Messiah. He is the Friday Night Messiah. I don't know if they're going to be using that exact name for Seth Rollins' nickname, but he is now on SmackDown, which earlier in the show, when I watched this all go down, I'm like, this is a good move. He needs to get away from Monday Night Raw. There's literally nothing on Monday Night Raw that would entice me at all about Seth Rollins. He needs something new. He needs something fresh. And also with this move, I honestly think Rollins moving to SmackDown all but confirms the Fiend is going to Monday Night Raw. I don't want to see them on the same show. Now you got Rollins and Reigns on the same show. That all but confirms Bray Wyatt is going to Monday Night Raw. That does not spell anything good for Bray Wyatt and The Fiend if Rollins and Reigns are on the same show. So that's that. That was the draft, round one. So I don't know how many of you guys agree with me on that stance. I don't know why champions are eligible to be drafted like that. They should have left them out and used that pick towards something that the show could actually use. Seriously. I don't really like that as far as the ruling in the WWE draft. So we got Caleb Braxton interviewing Seth Rollins. He was there. I don't know if this was live or if this was taped or not, but Caleb Braxton asked Seth Rollins about being moved to SmackDown. Seth said after spending his entire career as a Raw superstar, he has a new path to carve and new trails to blaze on SmackDown. He said he's a little heartbroken that he won't be there in person to watch the Mysterio family implode. He says he's happy he won't have to look at their disgusting faces ever again. He said the greater good now moves to Friday nights. Man, that interview, that promo did not age well at all. At all. Sheamus and Big E, they were on the show tonight. We got a Falls Count Anywhere match between these two. This was some good stuff. It wasn't Best Friends versus Santana and Ortiz good stuff, but I got to give these guys credit. This was good stuff. I think Sheamus moves to Monday Night Raw in the draft. I think Big E, being that we got the news of Big E staying on SmackDown, I think Sheamus is moving to Monday Night Raw on Monday. So this was really fun. It started off, obviously, in the ring. Big E went underneath the ring early. They were brawling around ringside. He pulled out giant bootios. Yes, I did not stutter. He pulled out giant Cheerio-looking bootios, props for the New Day. Sheamus took back over, scored a near fall. They brawled in front of the announce table. Sheamus tied up Big E in the ropes and beat him with a kendo stick. He scored another near fall based on that beating. Sheamus then searched underneath the ring and pulled out a bunch of stuff, including tape. Sheamus went to crawl further underneath the ring, and Big E then took the tape and taped Sheamus's legs together and beat him continuously again with the kendo stick. We go to commercial break. Big E was firmly in control. He was beating Sheamus down with the kendo stick. They fought backstage into the backstage area, into the catering area. Sheamus broke a bunch of eggs over Big E's head. I don't know what Titus was doing with the eggs. Maybe he was going to use them in a salad. Maybe he was going to use them in an omelet. Maybe he was going to make scrambled eggs for breakfast for everybody on Talking Smack. Maybe he was going to make French toast. I don't know. Maybe he was going to make a nice egg McMuffin. I don't know what Titus was doing with fucking eggs. Whether they were regular cage-free eggs, whether they were unorganic eggs, I don't know. Brown eggs, extra large eggs, medium eggs, small eggs, I don't know. I love eggs. So, bunch of eggs over Big E's head. Sheamus picked up a computer screen. You know, I could actually use one of those. I would have taken that off his hands, but he ended up using it as a weapon. Smashed it over Big E. There goes that. Big E recovered and hit Sheamus with a broom. He picked up a trash can, hit Sheamus several times with the trash can. Big E eventually knocked Sheamus through a door, and they went into the parking lot. Big E continued to beat Sheamus down into the parking lot. Sheamus hit Big E with a tire iron. Didn't look like a steel tire iron. It looked fucking rubberized. I don't know what the fuck that was. I don't know if you guys picked up on that. That didn't look nice at all. Sheamus then hit White Noise on top of a windshield of a car, but only scored a near fall. He then slammed the car door on Big E several times. He placed Big E in the trunk of the car, teased, hitting the trunk door on his arm. Big E then got his leg up to block the door coming down. He fought back. Sheamus attempted the bro kick, but Big E moved. Sheamus kicked the trunk door off its hinges. Big E made a big comeback here, slammed Sheamus on the trunk of another car. We then seen the finish when Big E gave Sheamus a big ending off of the vehicle through two tables that were just standing around, right through the tables for the win. The WWE camera here did not initially catch all of the move. I don't know why. We got about 3 replays of it, but we didn't see it fully as it was happening. Somebody was clearly out of position. It looked like it sucked. And Sheamus loses to Big E. And Big E gets that big win on Sheamus. Back from the break, Caleb Braxton interviewed Big E. He was standing there covered in flour, covered in eggs, covered in sweat. He went through a war. So, Kayla interviewed Big E and congratulated him. Kofi Kingston showed up disguised in a baseball hat. Then Xavier Woods showed up. And he returned to SmackDown. Xavier said they are missing their WWE World Tag Team Championships. Big E didn't seem super enthusiastic as Kofi and Xavier excitedly talked about the Tag Team Championships. But maybe he was just selling the beating that Sheamus just gave him. Big E then warmed up to it and said he missed it and he missed them. And they are back on SmackDown, which we will talk about in just a little bit. That was a very good match, and I had fun watching that. It was nowhere near what AEW did with the Best Friends and Santana and Ortiz. A valiant effort by WWE, but hopefully this is the conclusion of Big E and Sheamus on SmackDown. So we got Jey Uso making his way to the ring next. And we've seen some of the highlights with whatever he's got going on with Roman Reigns right now. So Uso was in the ring by himself, cut a promo asking Reigns what the stipulation is for their match at Hell in a Cell. Jey Uso I don't know if this is his first time around the block, but I think you'd already know that, bro. Come on. You're acting like an amateur out there. What's the stipulation? I mean, just look at the fucking show you're on. WWE wants to give quantity over quality. You're definitely going inside Hell in a Cell because WWE loves to do 3 or 4 Hell in a Cell matches a year. I don't really understand it. I never will. So Reigns didn't come out to tell what Jey Uso and the stipulation would be. Uso said he gets it. He wants to do it on his own terms. He said he doesn't run from consequences. He broke into his welcome to the Uso Penitentiary catch line, and then Paul Heyman interrupted. Heyman said Reigns will speak on his own clock. Heyman said the champ applauds his ambition because it's necessary for survival on the island of relevance. He said for those who get too ambitious and want to come up against the champ, a price will be paid. He whispered his final words ominously before throwing a video package on Reigns, dominating him at Clash of Champions. Reigns then was shown on camera, and I gotta detail you guys here what Reigns was doing. He was wearing what looked to be a fancy polo shirt. He had the big watch on his wrist, right? And I don't know where this promo was filmed. I don't know if it was on a remote location, or if this was inside the Amway Center in one of the luxury boxes or one of the offices in the Amway Center. But with Reigns wearing the polo shirt and Reigns clearly showing off the expensive watch, he had statues in the background. It looked to be a very elegant background. It had like angel statues with like, they look like water fountains, like the statues you'd see, you know, when you walk by a nice water fountain right there. They got these statues there in the background. And the whole vibe of the background mixed with his polo shirt, mixed with the watch, and mixed with the way he came off in this promo, man, it only added to him being a dick. It added to him being an absolute prick to Jey Uso. I loved it. I loved it. And the transformation of Roman Reigns is happening week by week. We got the fancy polo shirt. It's not the $10,000 Armani suit, but we got the watch. He looks great. I love it. They kept it very simple here. So Reigns said his dad and Jay's uncle said to believe none of what you hear and only half of what you see. So you can believe that, he said at the end of that. He told Jey he wanted to make his life better, and all he has to do, or all he had to do, was acknowledge him as his tribal chief. He said for the first time inside a Hell in a Cell, it will be an I quit match. He said that it didn't have to be like this. I just want to help you. I love you. And then Roman Reigns says, after Jey Uso says I quit, there will be consequences. Nobody knows what that means, but I'm intrigued. Still, they got my interest with this. Now, I don't know what those consequences are. I don't know what WWE could be planning. But I got 2 pieces of information here on Roman Reigns, obviously, with what they got going on with him. Now, there was news on Roman Reigns possibly forming a new stable on SmackDown. Now, it is not confirmed what the stipulation would be. Obviously, we got the Hell in a Cell match confirmed, but the stipulation we don't know. It was not confirmed what the extra stipulation will be, but it was strongly hinted at some point in the last 2 weeks when Reigns told Uso that a match would be the highest stakes match in WWE history. Nobody knows what Reigns meant by that. Now, for what it's worth, there's been talk creatively about Reigns leading a stable with Jimmy and Jey when Jimmy is healthy, and others added in the future. Now, Ringside News was told that the match at Hell in a Cell would be the next big chapter in the story being told, and there are many other players that will be involved in the storyline with Reigns. Reigns was supposed to be crowned the tribal chief on SmackDown, but that never happened. That never happened because he was interrupted by Jey Uso, and Jey refused to acknowledge him as the tribal chief, even though Jimmy Uso did acknowledge him last Sunday at Clash of Champions. So I don't know where they could be going with this. A formation of the Usos and Roman Reigns and a building of the Roman Empire or the bloodline, whatever the fuck they want to call it. It seems like it could be a direction that WWE is going. Now, Jimmy did say that Roman Reigns is the tribal chief. Is he already on Roman Reigns' side? Where is Jimmy in all this? He came out at Clash of Champions. Jimmy hasn't been seen since. Jimmy hasn't been out there to tell Jay, listen, bro, what are you doing? Oos, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? You don't need to do this. What are you trying to prove? It's not worth your time. Now you're risking your life inside Hell in a Cell. For what? The WWE Championship. Or the Universal Championship, I should say. Where is Jimmy in all this to be the voice of reason in Jey Uso's career and his life and his path and his direction? Is Jimmy already aligned with Roman? Is that going to be the stipulation? If Jey Uso loses, he has to do Roman Reigns' bidding. He's already got Jimmy on his side, but Jey doesn't know it yet. You join me at the table. I sit at the head of the table, and you guys sit there with me. This all seems to be about Roman Reigns teaching Jey Uso a lesson. He loves him. He doesn't want to do this to him. What did he say in the promo? He says, I love you. All I want to do is help you. Those things aren't in Roman Reigns' promo being guided by Paul Heyman if they weren't going to be an important factor in the story. So we don't know where they could be going with this, but it's definitely interesting. Now, with Roman Reigns, the entire Fiend feud might be off the table. We've seen Alexa Bliss stare down Roman Reigns a couple of weeks back. Everybody was like, oh, there's the clue on Roman Reigns' next feud. But we are not getting that. We are still continuing Jey Uso inside Hell in a Cell. Dave Meltzer stated that WWE planned on Roman Reigns versus The Fiend at WrestleMania this year. Clearly, that was not the case. This was in the works for about a year and a half before Vince McMahon changed everything up by inserting Goldberg into the mix. The plan for Reigns and Fiend might still happen. At this point, I don't think so. But they've switched babyface and heel roles at this point. I don't even think that's happened yet. I don't think Bray Wyatt's a babyface. According to Meltzer, he says, I don't think so. He says, and I quote, they obviously are teasing Roman Reigns and The Fiend, and they were at some point, and that was the plan for WrestleMania, so it was the plan for like 6 months, but they never got into it. Now, Ringside News exclusively reported that Alexa Bliss gave Roman Reigns that stare for a reason. Now, it could have been a reason that WWE had in mind then, and like everything else, their plans obviously changed. So I say Bray Wyatt's going to Monday Night Raw. That I am pretty certain of. I think Bray Wyatt's going to end up on Monday Night Raw, and then we won't be talking about Roman Reigns versus The Fiend at all anymore. That's just what I say on that. So Roman Reigns versus The Fiend, if you guys are still wondering if that's going to happen, if you have a hope that Bray Wyatt is going to get the Universal title back for a third time, I honestly think that championship has no meaning to Bray Wyatt. I honestly think if Bray Wyatt's holding that championship, it's something that is cursed for Bray Wyatt. So I don't see that happening at all. In fact, I hope it never happens because I don't see him doing any good with that championship at all. Or any championship for that matter. Just let Bray Wyatt be the Fiend, and that's it. Moving on here, man. Stephanie was back for round 2. Stephanie announced that Raw was drafting AJ Styles. So AJ Styles is going to Monday Night Raw. This was pretty much in the news. I think we all knew this. I mentioned this a couple of times on this very post-show podcast a couple of weeks ago. I mentioned this a couple of times. AJ Styles is moving to Monday Night Raw. No, not because he's trying to get away from Paul Heyman or he has issues with Paul Heyman. AJ Styles went on Twitch and said that he might not like Paul Heyman. He might think Paul Heyman is a liar. But if he has to work with Paul Heyman in a professional way, they would work together. AJ Styles is moving to Monday Night Raw because I do believe it was noted a couple weeks back that AJ Styles, he doesn't like the schedule of being on Friday night because at that point when he's scheduled to work Friday Night SmackDown, that actually ends up making AJ unhappy because he can't watch his kid play football. He wants to watch his son play sports. So they moved him to Monday Night Raw so that he could do that on Friday night. That's the rumor, and I would take that with some validity behind it. But AJ Styles on Raw, we might be getting some big-time matches with AJ on Raw. AJ versus Edge, AJ versus McIntyre, so on and so forth. So we'll see what happens and how Monday Night Raw looks after the draft on Raw. SmackDown selected Sasha Banks to stay on SmackDown. Now, I will say this. I like the way WWE has split the roster into two pools. I do. I think it's fair. But I don't know how the process is of splitting all of those men and women into two pools. Who comes up with it? How are those names determined? Are they just thrown into a random name generator? I don't know how you get those names split up into two pools on Friday and on Monday. That's what I would like to know. We got the draft, but we don't have an idea as to how those names were put into those eligibility pools. So I would like some background on that, which in turn would make the draft a little bit more fulfilling. Now, the other thing with the draft, the WWE, it's like I said before in the beginning, in the cold open of the show, it's like they are burdened with finding some excitement and some creativity in something that should be looked at as fun. You're shaking up your shows. You're giving the fans a fresh look at the product. New names, new faces, new shows, blah, blah, blah. But then again, WWE goes about the draft like they did last year's draft, and then the year before, the time before that in 2016. There's no superstar feel to it. All the superstars should be waiting with bated breath on what show that they're on. Everybody should be in like a war room, all together, sitting around, Make it like, and I say this every year, make it like an NFL draft or an NBA draft. Have everybody, I guess now with the restrictions, have everybody fucking seated, socially distanced, right? And when someone's name is called, have them come out. Have them come out on stage. Have them interviewed, Have them say like a fucking 30-second something on why they are happy about going to the brand that they were drafted to. But again, I would like to know how these names were placed in the eligibility pools. That's what I would like to know. I think it would make the overall experience of the draft a lot more fulfilling. SmackDown selected Sasha Banks. Next, Raw drafted Naomi. So Naomi is moving away from her husband, who I'm assuming is going to end up on SmackDown, because the Usos are in this thing with Roman Reigns. So Naomi to Monday Night Raw. That is a promising, if WWE is going to push her, I don't know, a promising aspect for Asuka and the Raw Women's Championship. This is the one pick that I'm excited about next, man. SmackDown selected Bianca Belair. So when Sasha Banks wins that championship, we could be looking at our WrestleMania Women's SmackDown Championship match. And I'm telling you right now, man, I don't have my Ridge wallet laying around. Take my fucking money, bro. Take my money. You talk about a dream match with the ability of a Sasha Banks and a Bianca Belair. Holy shit, man. That is what the evolution of women's wrestling needs right there. So then we got Stephanie announcing Raw drafts Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. So Monday Night Raw, through this entire thing, remains virtually unchanged. Drew McIntyre, Asuka, The Hurt Business, and then we got round 2, where AJ Styles is moving to Monday Night Raw, fine. Naomi's moving to Monday Night Raw, fine. But then you got Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax staying on the same show. Bianca Belair was not a factor on Monday Night Raw, so don't tell me that Monday Night Raw is losing Bianca Belair and it's a terrible move because they weren't using her to begin with. So what are you actually using if you're not using said talent? But Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler are staying together on Monday Night Raw. I don't know why. I don't know why you wouldn't move Shayna Baszler over to SmackDown. Keep Nia Jax on Monday Night Raw. Just get rid of the tag team titles. They are absolutely irrelevant. They are worthless. I don't even know why they exist. So Monday Night Raw, we got Styles, we got Naomi. But other than that, Monday Night Raw remains largely the same show so far. Sasha Banks, Bianca Belair, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns have been the choices for SmackDown so far, obviously with more to come. So we move on from round 2 of the draft. We go to Miz and Morrison versus Jeff Hardy and Matt Riddle. This was a 5-minute match. Hardy and Riddle win. We got Riddle and Hardy taking it to Miz early on with some offense. Riddle dove off of Hardy's back. Broetry in motion is what they called it, to a dive onto the floor. Riddle eventually finished off Miz with a Bo Derek, and that was pretty much it. Hardy and Riddle win in 5 minutes. I hope this is not a serious tag team. Please. That is just ridiculous. Matt Riddle should be Matt Riddle. Jeff Hardy should be Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy does not need to be in a tag team other than Matt Hardy. And you can't do that right now because Matt is with AEW. They should be singles wrestlers. After the match, Lars Sullivan made his return and entered the ring. He's got a big goatee and everything. He looks phenomenal. He shoved Riddle down, clothesline Hardy. Riddle threw some kicks at Lars Sullivan. Lars no-sold them. He then gave him the freak accident. He gave Hardy a short arm clothesline, threw him out of the ring. He took Riddle down hard and power slammed him again. He then took it to The Miz and hit The Miz with forearms to the side of the head before throwing him into the turnbuckle. So, Lars Sullivan is back, and this will trigger a lot of people, but if he's ready to come back, WWE was clearly going to use him because WWE needs new talent. They need fresh talent. Lars Sullivan is going to end up in the Raw eligibility pool, and I don't know what brand he's going to end up on, but I could absolutely see him ending up on Monday Night Raw. I think that's exactly where he goes. I think matches with Drew McIntyre, I think matches with some of the baby faces over there would be good. Sullivan versus Ricochet, Sullivan versus Apollo Crews, etc., etc. I think that could be fun. So we'll see what happens over there. I know a lot of people are going to be triggered by this, but what did you expect? WWE to just release him? And I know a lot of people don't like Lars Sullivan for the comments that he made. I know everybody's going to make fun of his before wrestling career. That's all I'll say. But you got to give the man credit. He's battled mental problems. He's trying to be a better person. No matter what you think of him, he's trying. You might not like him. That is completely up to you. You have every given right to not want to see Lars Sullivan on your TV if you feel a certain way. All I'm saying is the guy has put all of this behind him. He's trying to move forward, and he's put himself in probably the best shape of his life. And Lars Sullivan is back on WWE TV. Just like everybody doesn't like the Velveteen Dream for whatever reasons, you have every given right to not like the Velveteen Dream. Now, that's a different fucking story, right? But Lars Sullivan is back on TV. We're just going to have to live with it because WWE is who they are. They swept the Velveteen Dream thing under the rug. They did the right thing in suspending and fining Lars Sullivan, all the money that they did. But WWE, again, they have him on the roster. They're actively paying him, so they're going to use him. Even though you might not like him, change the channel. When Lars Sullivan is on, change the channel. Now, I didn't necessarily like the way that they introduced him because this is the same way that they introduced him the first time we seen him when they brought him up from NXT. The same way, attacking random people with no rhyme or reason. So WWE clearly doesn't have a plan for Lars Sullivan. They just wanted to introduce him again. Hey, look, it's this guy again. He's big, he's strong, he's powerful, he's scary. And he's a freak. That's exactly what they did. I do think he ends up on Monday Night Raw. And like I said before, if you don't like him, change the fucking channel. WWE's not going to change for the vocal minority on social media. I would know. So that's with Lars Sullivan. We go into hour 2. Before I get into hour 2, man, I got news on Matt Riddle. And it's not good news. I don't see where this news is going to go, but it's serious news. And I want to update you guys because you might not know what's going on. Now, Matt Riddle was accused of a multitude of sexual assaults in a lawsuit filed by Samantha Tavel. And this is updated with a statement from WWE. Now, the Chicago Sun-Times is reporting that Candy Cartwright, the one who came out in the speaking out movement against Matt Riddle and tried to get Matt Riddle fired as soon as he got called up to SmackDown on WWE television, real name Samantha Tavel, has filed a lawsuit against World Wrestling Entertainment. Evolve Wrestling and WWE are also listed as defendants in the lawsuit. Evolve previously served an unofficial development territory before being purchased by WWE in July of this year. The suit, filed in the Cook County Circuit Court, alleges that Riddle committed a series of assaults against Tavel from 2017 until January 2020. One of the incidents allegedly occurred on May 19th, 2018 on a bus that was leaving the Evolve 104 show in Summit, Illinois, where she says Riddle forced her to perform a sex act on him. Tavel says that she and Riddle had a relationship, but was not comfortable having sex on the bus because other wrestlers were on the bus as well. Riddle was also married. During a news conference in the afternoon this week when this news broke, Tavel says Riddle told her, "What if I just made you?" So Tavel's attorney says that the incident from May 2017 is just one of a multitude of sexual assaults committed by Matthew Riddle against my client, Candy Cartwright. The WWE has painted a picture over the course of the years that female performers are to comply with certain rules. Her attorney said, the WWE, since its inception, has hyper-sexualized female performers, and they profited from male aggression against these female performers. So the attorney says a copy of the lawsuit will be given to the Cook County State Attorney and the Summit Police Department. Tavel states that after refusing to perform forced sexual acts on Riddle, she was fired by Evolve in January, and then she was terminated due to issues with talent. Tavel says that speaking out against Riddle has basically ended her career, but she spoke out because some things are more important than her career. WWE released a statement on the matter. They said that they have not been served any lawsuit, but if it did happen, they would defend themselves. They say this officially, and I quote, WWE has not been served with a lawsuit by Ms. Tavel. However, if served, we will vigorously defend ourselves and contest it. End quote. First of all, I hope she knows what she's doing, and I hope she has the money to back it up, because if you're going to court with Vince McMahon's people, a.k.a. Jerry McDivitt, bro, you are fucked. I don't think Jerry McDivitt has lost any court case with Vince McMahon in the time that he's been serving Vince McMahon. So if Candy Cartwright thinks that she's going to get one over on Jerry McDivitt, honey, you have another thing coming. You may be wasting your breath. So her career is over. She's suing Matt Riddle, Evolve, and WWE for $10 million each. Her career is over, so now she's seeking the maximum from WWE Evolve and Matt Riddle. First of all, I don't even know what to say about this. I find this to be comical. I'm glad that she's taking it into her own hands and doing what she needs to do. That is a very respectable thing. If you believe you have a case, then by all means. I just don't think that you're going to get one over on Jerry McDivitt. I mean, look at the history there. Look at what Vince McMahon has gotten into and has gotten away with because of Jerry McDivitt. Candy Cartwright's going to go to court with WWE. I don't know about that. But her attorney says WWE, since its inception, has hypersexualized female performers, and they've profited from male aggression against these female performers. I don't even know what the fuck that means. What are you talking about? You're talking about incidences before Candy Cartwright wanted to be a fucking pro wrestler? You're talking about situations that Matt Riddle and Candy Cartwright, situations between them, and you're trying to apply it to what WWE has done since its inception about hypersexualizing female performers? Yes, we all know that. We all know that they were nothing more than soft-core porn at one point. I get it. But WWE has turned over a new leaf. WWE is not hypersexualizing female performers in this way anymore. They're not. WWE has done everything possible to treat the women as equals on WWE television, whether they are booked creatively right or bad. It doesn't really matter. But the fact of the matter is WWE has treated these women as equals. They gave them the WrestleMania main event for WrestleMania 35. They were outperforming the men. Every opportunity that the men have, the women now have, and that continues to grow year in and year out. So I don't really understand that statement there. You're telling us something that we already know. Candy Cartwright probably watched all the women back from that era, and she enjoyed what was going on. Now it's an issue. Now they're using that as defense in court. Oh, WWE hypersexualized female performers. Great. Profited from male aggression against these female performers. Fine. Fine. Yes, things happened in every promotion. ECW, WWF, WCW, you name it, up and down the independents. You still see intergender wrestling today, where male aggression is being taken out on female performers, some of which actually enjoy it. Jordynne Grace is actually competing for the X Division Championship at Bound for Glory. So I don't really understand that. I don't see how that ties into what she's got going on with Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle asked for a blowjob. Matt Riddle asked for a blowjob on a golf cart. Yes, it's bad. Yes, it's bad. He threatened to choke her and have her do it anyway and forced sexual acts on her. Fine. I don't know if that's going to hold up in court against Jerry McDevitt for $10 million, $30 million. I wish you luck. I don't think it's going to go far. I really don't. Let's check the chat here, man. We got, let me see, YouTube updated here. We got 1766 right now in the chat. Love it. We're almost at 1,000 likes, guys. Get those thumbs up. Up. Seriously. Let's Roman Reigns Superman punch that like button. Let's get it to 1,000. Super chats are open. Just want to remind you guys, super chats are open. We will take the super chats at the end of the show. Thank you guys for making Off the Script the #1 podcast in the IWC tonight for Off the Script and SmackDown's post show. Anyway, guys, let's move on with the show. We got hour 2. Stephanie McMahon announced that Lars Sullivan will be added to Monday's draft pool. So we got round 3. Raw selected Rick O'Shea. I think this is a terrible move. We got Ricochet on Monday Night Raw. He hasn't done anything. Ricochet has remained on Monday Night Raw. He didn't do anything. And now we got Ricochet still with Monday Night Raw. And WWE will not push Ricochet anywhere from where they have him right now. I honestly think if there's one guy on this show that needed a change of scenery, it would have been Ricochet. And I don't know why WWE didn't move him to SmackDown. I don't like that move at all. I think that's going to just keep him very, very irrelevant is a good word for me to use. In fact, Ricochet's been rumored to have his contract come up at the end of the year going into January. Whether he stays with the WWE or not, I don't know. I hope to God not. They absolutely killed everything that was exciting about Ricochet. He is not anywhere near the same level of performer that we've gotten. When he was in NXT, when he was on the Indies, he's dead. And on Monday Night Raw, that will continue to be the same thing. Dead. So, SmackDown drafted Jey Uso. This makes sense. He's feuding with Roman Reigns. So I don't really understand why that is a situation. I don't know why anybody thought that Jey Uso would be going over to Monday Night Raw. Stephanie said Mandy Rose was picked by Raw to stay on Raw. Well, Monday Night Raw traded for Mandy Rose for an unknown trade. We didn't really get any type of news on who she was traded for. But why would they draft Mandy Rose from SmackDown over to Raw to stay on Raw? They just traded her to Monday Night Raw. Why is that? This is the thing that doesn't make sense to me. You just traded for her. She should be ineligible for the draft. You just traded for her. So why waste a draft pick on Mandy Rose when you just went out and traded for Mandy Rose? So theoretically, you just traded somebody or something, cash considerations of something, I don't know. Maybe they traded a fucking plate of Titus's spaghetti and meatballs. I don't fucking know. You traded something for Mandy Rose only to draft her back to Monday Night Raw. So theoretically, you traded something away for nothing, is what it looks like to me. I don't get it. So Mandy Rose stays on Raw. Then she announced SmackDown drafted Dominic and Rey Mysterio, and that Seth Rollins promo did not age well at all. So Dominic and Rey Mysterio will continue the storyline with Seth Rollins. Oh joy, oh joy. And then Raw selected Miz and Morrison. Great. So what happens there? The New Day just won the tag team championships. Street Profits, I'm assuming, are going to stay on Monday Night Raw. I don't know why they would move the Street Profits over to SmackDown unless they want to keep Montez Ford and Bianca Belair together. But that wouldn't make sense. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. Miz and Morrison, I could absolutely see feuding with the Street Profits, and I am not necessarily excited about that at all. In fact, I could not give a single shit about that tag team feud. I don't. So Miz and Morrison went over to Monday Night Raw. Same old shit. Now we got to see it on Monday night. Great. Now we're going to see the dirt sheet on Monday night. Awesome. So we got SmackDown right now as it looks. Reigns, Rollins, Sasha Banks, Bianca Belair, Jey Uso, Dominic, and Rey Mysterio. 7. Monday Night Raw is looking like McIntyre, Asuka, Hurt Business, AJ Styles, Naomi, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Ricochet, Mandy Rose, Miz and Morrison. So the only changes to Monday Night Raw necessarily aren't good ones. They're not. The only good one is AJ Styles. So they pretty much just swapped Rollins for Styles. And they swapped Bianca Belair for Naomi. That was it. Monday Night Raw still, after 3 rounds, largely remains the same on Friday Night SmackDown. Bayley and Sasha Banks, SmackDown title match. I got news on Sasha and Bayley. I got news on why WWE did not split them up sooner. Why WWE kept pushing Bayley and Sasha Banks and their feud back. Now, this is very common knowledge to everybody. I don't even know why I'm reporting this, but it was in The Observer. Meltzer talked about this, and we talked about this several times, so this, again, is not new information to anybody. Banks and Bayley were doing a great job, says Meltzer, together as a duo, which prompted WWE to procrastinate in their split. He says, and I quote, "I know why they did the breakup, because that was always the plan. The plan was to do the breakup, and they kept moving it back and kept moving it back. But they were so good together, they kept moving it back for that reason." Now, WrestleVotes reported that Banks and Bayley is planned to be the main event of Hell in a Cell on October 25th. I don't know if that's legit or not. They absolutely deserve it. The storyline deserves it. It's been the longest going storyline going into Hell in a Cell, so just based on that, if we have to do it, which I'm not a big fan of, I think them main eventing is the right call. Now, it's easy to understand why WWE kept delaying this breakup. They were some of the best acts or the best segments on television, but it got to a point where WWE just kept waiting and waiting and waiting. I'm not sure if the fact that they were good, I'm not sure if the fact that they were really good together was the only reason why they kept procrastinating. I honestly want to truly believe that Sasha Banks and Bayley tried everything in their power to prolong the breakup and wait to see if we can possibly get this to WrestleMania. I would not put it past both Sasha Banks and Bayley, Mercedes and Pam, backstage, talking about this, laying out the whole plan for the storyline and where they want it to go. I would not be surprised if they actually tried their damnedest to maybe get this to WrestleMania. And then somebody along the way possibly realized that WWE taking us into WrestleMania, is that even a possibility with this inept writing team? Are they going to make it right? Can they do it? I think as the weeks went on, I think both of them realized, and thought, I don't think it's going to happen with this writing team. I just don't see it happening. So they did it. Everybody knew they were going to break up. They did it, and now they're doing it at Hell in a Cell. But I want to believe that the plan was always for these two to go to WrestleMania. They could still go to WrestleMania. They could still end up at WrestleMania in the SmackDown Women's Championship match. Now, Bayley has to be drafted on Monday to stay on SmackDown. Then we go into the match. One of two things can happen. Bayley could get drafted to Raw and win the match. Take the SmackDown Women's Championship over to Raw, right? Because that happened with the New Day. Merge those titles. Have Bayley become the unified champion at some point. And go into Hell in a Cell. Beat Sasha Banks. Injure Sasha Banks. And then Sasha comes back at the Royal Rumble and wins the Royal Rumble. She challenges Bayley at WrestleMania for the Unified Women's Championships. So that's what I would do there. Number one, they could do that. Number two, WWE could absolutely keep Bayley on SmackDown. They could go into Hell in a Cell. Bayley could injure Sasha Banks inside Hell in a Cell. Have her out till the Royal Rumble. Sasha comes back, wins the Royal Rumble, challenges Bayley for the SmackDown Women's Championship at WrestleMania. I just gave you two options of WWE doing exactly that, getting it to WrestleMania. It can happen. The storyline is there. They can do it if they have some fucking patience, but they will not keep someone like Sasha Banks off of television all that time to sell a storyline. WWE is about the now. They want it now, 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 now. Meanwhile, who gives a shit if Sasha's off TV? It's not going to be for that long anyway. And it's for the greater good of the storyline. Or number three, WWE can have Sasha Banks win the title at Hell in a Cell, end it, and we get Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks at WrestleMania for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Or how about this? Here's another thing WWE could do as well. We could get Bayley in a situation where she loses the SmackDown Women's Championship and she loses it to Sasha. They're both on the same show. She aligns herself with Stephanie McMahon, does Bayley. Bayley, being that she went corporate and aligned herself with Stephanie McMahon, Sasha already beat Bayley. She'll do it again. And we get a Sasha Banks versus Stephanie McMahon match at WrestleMania, which looked to be the situation that everything was heading towards anyway when Stephanie McMahon interjected herself into the Sasha Asuka storyline. That's another possibility as well. I don't want to see Stephanie McMahon wrestle anybody. I don't want Stephanie McMahon at WrestleMania wrestling Sasha Banks. I think that takes away from the overall vibe of what you're going for with a women's evolution. And in fact, you're going backwards by having Stephanie McMahon in the ring with Sasha Banks, but it is Stephanie McMahon in the ring with Sasha Banks, and that is a big WrestleMania match for Sasha Banks to be in the ring at WrestleMania with a McMahon. It's a give or take on that. I don't want to see Stephanie McMahon in the ring, period. But I understand how important that match would be for Sasha Banks. So, I don't know where WWE goes with this. I really don't know how they go about it. I think I don't know who else has really talked about this. I know Ryan fucking Satan on his Twitter account mentioned something about, booking Sasha Banks till the Royal Rumble and having her out and winning the Royal Rumble. Hey, asshole, we've been talking about that for a month. You're behind. So not only are you terrible at what you do, you're telling me that you're watching my show and stealing my ideas to profit off my ideas. So that means to me, additionally, that I could probably do your job better than you. Why isn't Fox asking me to write the fucking articles instead of you? Because you did nothing to offer anything new and exciting for the draft. We've been talking about this shit for months, bro. Get with the program. Those are the things that WWE could do. I pitched. I don't know who else did. Quite frankly, I don't give a fuck who else pitched it. I don't really listen to anybody else. I know we did it here. Sasha Banks, by any means, whether she loses, whether she gets drafted to another show away from Bayley, she loses Hell in a Cell, gets beat down, wins the Royal Rumble, shows up, wins the Royal Rumble. Bayley thinks that Sasha Banks, ha ha ha, I got rid of her. She ain't coming back. Ha ha ha. Wins the Royal Rumble, challenges Bayley at WrestleMania for the SmackDown title. Whatever. Multiple ways to go about it. So we got this title match tonight. This wasn't even a match. This was WWE with the good old bait and switch tonight. So this match was not even a match. WWE hyped this up as a match. It went 2 minutes. They did nothing but roll around on the mat. They tried to have a wrestling match. She applied a quick bank statement, did Sasha Banks. Bayley put her foot on the bottom rope to force a break. Bayley rolled outside, grabbed her steel chair, which is her favorite weapon now. She got herself DQ'd. And Sasha wins by DQ because Bayley hit her with a chair. After the match, Sasha ducked Bayley's chair swing. She set up the chair in the corner and sent Bayley face first into the chair. She then bashed Bayley across the back with it several times. Bayley eventually got out of harm's way and escaped to ringside. So that was it. So we got this match ending in DQ, which I think everybody kind of assumed was going to happen because WWE needed a match to prompt another match. They needed an outcome to prompt the Hell in a Cell match. Bayley evaded Sasha Banks and got out of defending the championship. Bayley wants to swing chairs. She can swing them all she wants inside Hell in a Cell. Sasha threw down the challenge at the end of the night. I'm not necessarily a big fan of how they went about this. This could have been done in a number of ways and not really bragging and hyping and, over just indulging in a match here. Oh my God, look, we got a match between Sasha and Bayley on SmackDown. You got to watch the draft night. We're going to see the SmackDown Women's Championship defended. WWE just baited and switched everybody. Not a big fan of the way that they did it, but I know you guys are probably feeling the same thing that I am, but I want you to look at it through this way. I want you to look at it through these eyes. Could you see Bayley in her current character doing something like she did tonight with the steel chair? Trying to get out of defending a championship match she didn't want, a championship in the SmackDown Women's Championship she didn't want to defend against Sasha Banks after all that she's done, especially with Sasha Banks now recovering from the neck injury and having the neck brace removed. Could you see Bayley doing that to get out of this match tonight? If the answer is yes, then I don't think it's that big of a deal. If Bayley's character is something along the lines of what you've seen tonight, and you could actually accept that, you could see that being Bayley's character, then I don't think we should really harp too much on the 2-minute disqualification. Did WWE fuck up and lure everybody in a typical fashion like they usually do because they fucking suck? Absolutely. Does it feel like WWE is rushing through this Bayley versus Sasha Banks feud? Absolutely. If I was booking this thing, I would sit down with both women and lay it out on the table. How do we get it to WrestleMania? Let me hear the ideas from you, Mercedes, and you, Pamela. How do we do it? The best one we'll go with, and we'll work from there. That's what WWE should be doing. But it looks like to me, WWE wants to end it in Hell in a Cell because how could they justify walking out of Hell in a Cell and either one of these women getting a fucking rematch? And WWE couldn't put these two inside Hell in a Cell. Another additional fact here as to why we've seen this match happen tonight. I guess they had their backs against the wall. WWE could not justify having this match be first in the line of matches that they have in this feud. So they had to give you a match first to get to this match. They had to give you a match to set up to get to that match. It would have looked stupid if this was the only match that they had inside Hell in a Cell. So Sasha Banks wins by DQ, 2 minutes, and we're getting the Hell in a Cell match on October 25th. Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura versus The New Day. This is Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. I don't know why this match was made. I really don't. I want to see some of these other geek podcasts out there complain about The New Day and why they got a Tag Team Championship opportunity on the show. Why? Xavier Woods has been out for a year. Kofi Kingston's been out for 3 months. They show back up together on SmackDown. Yep, that's enough for a tag team title opportunity. Only in WWE. So what did we have happen here, folks? Did Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro retain the tag team championships against the returning New Day? Of course not. Oh, man, of course not, man. Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura were as bad as Humberto Carrillo. And I mentioned Humberto Carrillo because I do my little Humberto Carrillo skit and I wanted to take a sip of my lemon water. New Day shows up. They get a tag team title match for absolutely no reason. It's like WWE couldn't wait to get the titles off of Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. New Day win the tag team titles. Woods started the match against Cesaro. He looked great. Xavier Woods hasn't lost a step. He looks a lot bigger than what I remember him looking like before he went out with the injury. We had Nakamura and Cesaro in control. They were isolating Kofi Kingston. Woods got the hot tag, ran wild, hit a DDT from the ropes on Nakamura, which looked a little sloppy. Kingston got the tag after Mr. Woods went crazy with the babyface hot tag. So Kingston got the tag back in, gave Cesaro a hip toss from the apron to the floor. Kingston then hit a DDT off the ropes to the floor. Kingston attempted a dive, but Cesaro caught him with an uppercut, which always looks great. Cesaro gave Kingston a giant swing. Nakamura set up for the Kinshasa, but Woods grabbed Nakamura's legs on the apron, or from underneath the bottom rope. Kingston then hit a Trouble in Paradise on Cesaro. Nakamura attempted the reverse exploder suplex, but Kingston landed on his feet, and Woods got the blind tag. The finish came when Kingston hit the SOS on Nakamura. Woods went up for the springboard elbow drop, and he pinned Nakamura. 1, 2, 3. The New Day are once again the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. I don't know why they got a title shot. I'm not even going to go into trying to explain it, but WWE is absolutely fucking illogical. In no way, shape, or form did the New Day deserve a tag team title opportunity. None. I don't understand it. Now, what had happened after the match, WWE could have easily got to the same place in which I hope that they are going, with Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro a couple of weeks back, but they failed to do it. I didn't think their brain power worked in ways that made sense. Clearly not. And they proved that to us when Cesaro and Nakamura showed up on Monday Night Raw and challenged the Street Profits in a champion versus champion match. Now, right after this match, it was the final round of the draft. And we got Stephanie McMahon back out there after the New Day won the tag team titles. Stephanie announced that Raw has drafted Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. But no Big E. They did not hear Big E's name, and Xavier Woods was yelling out to Stephanie McMahon from the ring, "Say E's name, say E's name." Stephanie announced that SmackDown has selected Big E. So if you guys are wanting a Big E singles run, you're absolutely getting it now. He will not have the New Day. I hope that this means that Big E is getting his own story, and he cannot do it without the New Day, and that is the story that they're going to tell on his rise to the top. I hope that's eventually what the story is going to be. He's down, he's sad, he's upset, he can't do it without his brothers. He goes into a funk, and he overcomes it by winning and winning and winning and doing it all on his own. Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston go to Monday Night Raw with the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Now, that doesn't make sense. The Tag Team Championships on SmackDown are blue. That can't be on the red show. So why did they draft them over to Monday Night Raw? The Street Profits, do they end up on SmackDown with the red titles? I don't think so. I don't think so. They could very well do that to throw off the predictability of it. They could very well do that. New Day drafted to Monday Night Raw with the SmackDown Tag Team titles. The Street Profits get drafted to SmackDown with the Monday Night Raw Tag Team titles. Oh, but what are they going to do now? Remember, folks, after Hell in a Cell, we have Survivor Series coming up where it could be a champion versus champion situation. WWE would have to rectify that situation regardless at the Survivor Series. At that point, it would be the Street Profits versus the New Day. Champions versus champions. You can have Monday Night Raw Tag Team Champions on SmackDown and SmackDown Tag Team Champions on Monday Night Raw. So if that is the case and they want to throw off the scent of predictability, WWE could do that and have the unification match at Survivor Series where one winner take all and they unify the tag team championships. That's exactly what they could do if they want to do that. That's one way to go about it. I don't know why they just didn't do it with Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura with the Street Profits, but that's how lowly WWE thinks of Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro. Now, they could do that at Survivor Series. They could do it on Monday Night Raw. The Street Profits could stay on Monday Night Raw. And SmackDown Tag Team Champions in the New Day are on Monday Night Raw as well. They could absolutely do that at Hell in a Cell. We could have a unification match at Hell in a Cell between the New Day and the Street Profits. But SmackDown has no tag teams. Miz and Morrison got drafted over to Monday Night Raw. The only tag team right now on, or the tag teams, I should say, I don't even really consider them a tag team. They're still singles wrestlers in my eyes. Cesaro and Nakamura and Heavy Machinery. There is no tag teams on SmackDown. And we don't know where Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro are going to end up anyway. They may end up splitting them up in the draft. We don't know. WWE could do this at Hell in a Cell. They could do it at Survivor Series. But one thing remains. It gets us to the same place, and it gets WWE into a place where they need to be with the tag team titles. Merge the fucking divisions. You're asking for it now. Don't let me down, Bruce. Don't let me down. It's right in front of you. It's writing on the wall. If you don't do it now, I give up. I give up. Staring him right in the fucking face. What is he going to do? What? What, Vince? What? Yeah. Do it. Please. Moving on. So Big E, staying on SmackDown. Xavier and Kofi, staying, or not staying, going to Monday Night Raw. So they were upset. They were shocked. Raw drafted Dana Brooke to stay. Again, she just got traded over to Monday Night Raw. Why are you wasting a draft pick on catering? Seriously. Doesn't matter for Titus. Titus is going to use her on both shows anyway. But why are you wasting a draft pick on Dana Brooke when she just got traded 2 weeks ago to Monday Night Raw? It looks stupid. SmackDown drafted Otis to stay. SmackDown drafted Otis. So why are they just drafting Otis and not Otis and Tucker of Heavy Machinery? Are they going to move Tucker to Monday Night Raw? I don't see what purpose that would do or what sense that would make. But my God, man. If you ain't merging the tag team divisions, I have no fucking idea what you're doing. I really don't. Angel Garza. He's staying on Monday Night Raw. Garza, he had a quad injury that did not require surgery. So he will be back in a week or two, and he will be back on Monday Night Raw. I honestly think they're splitting Garza and Andrade up. I think Andrade's going to SmackDown. That's just me. We'll see what happens come Monday. He's in the draft eligibility pool on Monday Night Raw. Otis X Tucker, if they're staying together, Tucky said hopefully Miz and Morrison moving to another brand means that they'll drop the lawsuit against them as well. Otis pulled out a law book and read some legal terms, tried to make it comical. It did not come off as funny to me. A woman in a suit arrived and served him more legal papers. Tucker said Miz's lawyer is filing a continuance to delay the trial. Otis says he is ready. He bought legal pads. He bought a fancy pen, and then he took out his pen and said, "No one drains out my moisture." I don't know what that means, but Michael Cole and Corey Graves looked at each other and they didn't know what it meant either. I don't know. Maybe he was making a steak reference. I don't know. So we got Kevin Owens versus The Fiend on SmackDown. Kevin Owens versus The Fiend. This was the main event on SmackDown tonight. I think both guys are switching shows, to be quite honest with you. I think Kevin Owens is going to SmackDown, and I think Bray Wyatt as The Fiend is going to Monday Night Raw. That is my prediction. I could be wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong in this case. So this was The Fiend's first match on SmackDown TV since the inception of the character. It was, I guess, okay for Fiend's standards. It was okay for Fiend's standards of matches, but at the end, it really wasn't very good as far as Kevin Owens' standards go. It was fine for what it was. It was fine for a TV match, but, I mean, I don't know who's going to go back and watch this match. I don't think it was very good at all. Had some spots here and there that tried to sell the excitement of it, but it really didn't do anything for me. It was a typical Fiend match where he takes offense, and he no-sells everything. Like a modern-day Undertaker. Doesn't really necessarily make Kevin Owens look good. He sold very little. He took some moves, and he ended up winning with the mandible claw. So Owens jumped the Fiend at the bell to get the early advantage. Fiend fought back, hit his running crossbody to take over. Owens attempted a super kick. Fiend caught him. Leg slammed Owens face first. Fiend caught Owens with a headbutt. Owens bounced off the ropes at a clothesline. Fiend jumped right up. Owens was surprised. He took a step back. The Fiend then took Owens to the floor and hit Sister Abigail on the announce table. Fiend was in control at this point. He set up for Sister Abigail. Owens broke free. Owens hit 2 super kicks to the Fiend. He wouldn't go down. He no-sold them. A third super kick sent the Fiend into the corner. Owens then hit 2 running cannonballs in the corner. Owens then hit a frog splash off the apron, which looked good. That was the best spot of the match. Owens hit that devastating frog splash off the apron, but the Fiend got back to his feet immediately and no-sold it. I want to see someone take a fucking frog splash off the apron from Kevin Owens, and I want to see them sit up immediately. Owens attempted to give the Fiend a pop-up powerbomb on the announce table, but they messed up, it looked like. Owens got the powerbomb on the second try and put the Fiend through the table. He jumped right back to his feet, takes the big splash, gets right up. Gets a powerbomb through the table, gets right back up. The Fiend jumped back to his feet. He tried to hit a stunner, did Owens, but the Fiend locked in the mandible claw, and he locked in the mandible claw after the stunner. This guy took a frog splash, a powerbomb, and a stunner from Kevin Owens, no-sold them all, got the mandible claw on Kevin Owens, and tapped him out for the win. Well, the referee stopped the match because Owens passed out for the win. The Fiend beats Bray Wyatt. The Fiend Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, beats Kevin Owens in the main event. Then Alexa Bliss came out, and the lights went out. We seen Bray Wyatt in the ring. Lights went out. All of a sudden, you see him on the top of the ramp with Alexa Bliss, clearly out of breath because the lights went out. He had to run up the ramp in the dark, and they standing there with Alexa Bliss. They looked at each other. They looked back at the ring to see what the Fiend did to Kevin Owens, and they started looking at each other again, and that's the way SmackDown went off the air. So we got the season premiere of SmackDown next week. That's their shill to sell the show. The season premiere of SmackDown. Because that's exactly what we need. The season premiere following the draft. Oh, look at all our new names now. We got Roman Reigns defending against Braun Strowman. Oh, now he wants the Universal Championship. Oh, great. I think he's finally over Raw Underground, right? Now he wants the championship back. Thanks for reminding me. A championship he won't win. Roman Reigns defends against Braun Strowman, the Universal title. The New Day, Big E, Kofi Kingston, and Xavier Woods take on Sheamus, Cesaro, and Shinsuke Nakamura in New Day's farewell match. And here I thought we were done with Big E and Sheamus. Fucking shit. So we're getting, I guess, a brand-to-brand invitational next week because Big E's on Raw and he's going to show up on SmackDown as if nothing ever happened tonight, right? Give me a break. Or, I guess, Woods and Kofi, I guess, with the brand-to-brand invitational. They're on Raw and they're going to show up on SmackDown as if nothing ever happened tonight. So that is the WWE Draft Night 1, folks. I mean, nothing terribly exciting. Nothing groundbreaking whatsoever. Nothing that's going to change the landscape of WWE at all. So that's what we got tonight. And I will be back on Monday to cover the night 2 extensively of the draft. And we'll talk about that on the post-show Monday on Raw for Off the Script. Guys, if you've come here for the review portion of the show, I hope that I filled you in tonight. I hope you enjoyed. If I made you laugh, if I upset you, if I made you happy, if I took your time away from whatever else you might be doing this evening, you're welcome. I appreciate you guys being here. But we're going to go over some Super Chats right now, man. Super Chats are open. Make sure you guys get them on in. You guys can continue to get them on in. We're going to hang out for a little bit. Chat's going crazy, man. I love it on these nights, man. I love nights like this, bro. Chat is going crazy. Hope you guys enjoyed yourself in the chat. We got 888 likes, 889 likes right now, guys. Hit that thumbs up, man. I would love it if you guys hit that thumbs up. Give me that New Day power on the thumbs up button. Let's try and get 1,000 before we get on out of here in a little bit, man. Thank you guys so very much. Let's hit some music, man. Let's get some music going. We'll hang out. Take a sip of my cold beverage because lemon water to me, man, just soothes my vocal cords. And I didn't really do a lot of yelling tonight anyway, so really nothing to yell about. It's SmackDown. It is what it is, man. Let's go through these Super Chats, man. Super Chats today brought to you by Harry's. Harrys.com/script. Go and get your trial set today, man. Brand new, sharpest blades ever. That's what you're going to get. Sharpest blades ever. A razor handle and shave gel with a travel cover as well to keep your razor dry. All you got to do is use Harrys.com/script. You guys will have that in a couple days delivered right into your mailbox, man. Go and start shaving better today. Super Chats brought to you by Harry's. Harrys.com/script. Jacob Donnelly, $5 Super Chat. Fingers crossed. The tag team titles are merged on Raw, but I'm sure the Street Profits will just be drafted to SmackDown, and then we'll all be pissed. Bro, I just mentioned it. I think I covered all my bases here, bro. If the Profits get drafted to SmackDown, then they're forced to do the match between the Profits and the New Day at Survivor Series anyway, so we can still potentially, possibly get a unification match at Survivor Series. JP5150, $10 Super Chat. So, night 1 of the draft ends with disappointment. Illogically stupid, and no one cared from anyone watching. I swear to God Almighty, if they don't merge the divisions on Monday, I will absolutely lose it. Bro, I've been calling it for 4 years. Really. I've been calling it for 4 years, man. Hopefully they do it. Hopefully Bruce listened to me. Mr. Cake with a $4 Super Chat. I wonder if WWE heard of Kenny Omega's dream match. What is Kenny Omega's dream match? What is his dream match? I have no idea. Bayley played chess tonight. Such a role model. Bayley's awesome. Ulysses Smith with a $5 Super Chat. So Sasha will lose in the cell to all her friends. Well, if she gets the match with Bayley at the Rumble or Mania and wins, that's okay. Glad the New Day is done. You know, I didn't really think about that. Sasha lost to Charlotte. Sasha lost to Becky. Sasha losing to Bayley. I could see it happening, man. That's a good point there. But I do think she wins it, and WWE doesn't even follow it up with what we discussed, which I think would be the best way to go about it. Get it to WrestleMania. That is the plan, or should be the plan. Kenny versus AJ is the match. Well, they could have had Kenny. They could have had him. They didn't want him. They didn't want him bad enough. And I don't think Kenny would have won anyway. Kenny would have been ruined. We would have been talking about Kenny and catering at this point. All three of them, Bucks, Nick, Matt, and Kenny, would have been in fucking Titus Catering. Ulysses with another $5. If WWE switched the tag team titles to different brands, just move teams for shock value, but not unify, I'm going to be explicitly pissed. Bianca, get on my TV now. She better be used heavily. I hope so, man. I really hope so. You know, I find it funny how Naomi has always said publicly she wanted to work with Bianca Belair, and Naomi moved to Raw and Bianca moved to SmackDown. I don't know, man. Ricardo with a $5 super chat. What can you expect from Raw and SmackDown knowing that Bruce is calling the shots other than complete and utter laziness? What a horrible show. Bro, it's going to shake the foundation of WWE. It's exactly what they said. How could it shake the foundation when it's the same fucking people writing the show? So stupid. Saeed with a Canadian $5. The highlight of tonight was when we got a look at the baking station of Titus Catering. Also surprised that WWE finally mentioned COVID-19 by name. Oh, how long can they fucking go on pretending that it doesn't exist? Ryoof Wildfire with a $4.99 super chat. WWE let go of so much talent like a Miro, but kept Lars. Get the fuck out of here. I went on WWE Twitter, and by the response, he ain't wanted by lots of fans. The vocal minority, folks. The vocal minority. Lars ain't going anywhere. If you don't like him, don't watch. That's exactly what I tell everybody. You don't like what the fuck I have to say? Don't watch, geek. Don't watch, but you're gonna watch anyway, right? It's exactly what they tell me. But you always criticize the show. Stop watching. A, I have a fucking job. B, I have a podcast. Okay? C, I'm going to tell it right back to you. If you don't like me, don't watch. Mr. Cake, $2 super chat. Seth is now the Friday night padre, the Friday night father. I doubt they use that, but yeah, they could use that. Marcus Thomas with a $5 super chat. Thank you for watching and reviewing WWE and TakeOver. AEW shows this week, over 9 hours. I've been listening to you since Hell in a Cell 2019. Great rant. Oh, man, that was a good rant. That was a good rant, bro. Jesus Christ. What a terrible fucking show that was, huh? Lakefront Studios, $9.99. I ignored the draft since the Raw and SmackDown uncreative teams are still the same. Sasha vs. Bayley Hell in a Cell match will be a barn burner if WWE uncreative don't overbook it. Either way you look at it, man, I don't think Sasha and Bayley can have a bad match. Mr. Cake with a $5. Always bet on The Miz, he says. No, thank you. I'd rather bet on you, Mr. Cake, than the fucking Miz. Prince with a $9.99. What's up, JD? Wish Bianca and Naomi were on the same brand, but looking forward to seeing Bianca versus Sasha or Bayley. Also, Naomi versus Asuka. Vince just let them work and show out. By the way, love the intro music. Appreciate that, Prince. Thank you so much, man. Justin Strippin with a $9.99 super chat. I don't know why WWE has a draft when they keep most of the wrestlers on the same brand. It's not even a draft. Also, in my opinion, the champion should be exempt from the draft. I mentioned that in the beginning of the show, bro. I don't know why you're drafting Drew McIntyre and Asuka. Asuka's the Raw Women's Champion. You keep her on the Raw show. Why are you wasting picks on Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke when you just traded for them 2 weeks ago? Appreciate the $9.99, brother. Kenley with a $20 bomb. What's up, man? I might be wrong, but I think they drafted Seth Rollins to SmackDown because they want him against Roman instead of the Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania, and Daniel Bryan might be going to Raw. I can't see Rollins staying heel later on. Rollins is not going babyface, man. It's too soon. I don't give a shit about that match at all, man. This is a time to create new feuds and new stars and new television. You want to do Roman versus Seth again? Maybe he fits into the overall Roman storyline, but I mean, God almighty, get them away from each other. Daniel Bryan hopefully stays on SmackDown. That's your WrestleMania main event. Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns. If they don't got The Rock waiting and ready against Roman. Retro 90s Kid. Thank you for $3 super chat. Laura Conway, $1.99. Congrats to your Braves. Love OTS Live. Now we got the Dodgers. Not feeling too confident, but the Braves are hot right now. And any team that's hot is unpredictable. I like it. Sean Planet Stasiak, $4.99. Do you remember when Sheamus won the World Heavyweight Championship and was the top babyface on SmackDown in 2012? Did you like it? No. I thought it was terrible. Justin Strickland with more super chats. Thank you so much, brother. A $9.99 and a $4.99. One name that also wasn't on the draft list, even though she hasn't been seen on WWE TV, was Ronda Rousey. Good point, bro. I don't know why I didn't put that in my notes. I'll probably have news on Ronda this weekend on the podcast. This may be a reach, but just a thought. With this pandemic going on, do you think WWE should use the WCW World War III concept for the 2021 Royal Rumble pay-per-view for both Royal Rumble matches? No. I don't think so, and I don't think Vince is going to do that. It's a WCW concept. Why would he use a WCW concept? This is the man that didn't want to use Halloween Havoc as a pay-per-view, and now it's given to NXT as a way to combat AEW with another gimmick show. Matthew Ryan, your Big Show and Braun impressions kill me. $2 super chat. Thank you, bro. Micah, $1.99. Bryan versus McIntyre at Rumble for the championship. Could happen. But I don't think so. I think Randy Orton's winning the title inside Hell in a Cell. We're getting Orton Edge or Orton Edge at WrestleMania. It's either going to happen at Royal Rumble or it's either going to happen at WrestleMania. Mr. Cake with more super chats, man. A $7 super chat here. 1.5 and 1.2. Hey, JD, what creative decision would it take to bring out the IWC Avengers? I don't know what that means, bro. The IWC Avengers? Who the fuck are the IWC Avengers? I'm Thanos. That's all you need to know. Have I heard the new Deftones album? No, I have not. Maurice Jackson, $4.99. I thought the draft was interesting, but I don't trust the booking going forward. I want Bianca to get a push, and the tag team division needs to be combined. I want those two things as well, man. Justin Strickland, man. Look at this fucking guy, man. Thank you for the super chats tonight. With the I Quit stipulation added to the Roman vs. Jey Uso Hell in a Cell match, it's going to be a very brutal match. Good. Maybe they'll add some color to it this time. Francis Loop. Attention to detail. In a street fight, shouldn't participants wear t-shirt, cowboy boots, taped fists, jeans, knee pads over jeans, not wrestling tights? Bro, it was a Falls Count Anywhere match. They started in the ring. I don't know. Just my thought on that. It wasn't a legit street fight where they started in the streets. If they started in the streets or started in the parking lot, that's a different story, but they started in the ring. Retro with another 99-cent super chat. Thank you. Maurice, $1.99. Let's be real. The draft was dumb as hell. It wasn't exciting. I'll tell you that. BCTV became a new member. Who the fuck is that, man? Is that BC Amplified? I don't think so. But if it is, love my boy BC, man. Charles Wright, $2 super chat. You make me smile and laugh. You are awesome. Number 1 OTS. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Mr. K, Kenny's dream match is the Elite versus New Day. Oh. Interesting. I think he also mentioned AJ as well at WrestleMania. Ricardo with a $5 super chat. Thanks for bringing us the truth, JD. Hope the Braves win. The Panda will help them beat the Dodgers. He is their kryptonite. I don't know, man. We'll see. And Michigan Made with a $1.99 super chat. Bryan versus Drew would be nice, too. I think Bryan is best on SmackDown, bro. Keep Bryan on SmackDown and get that match with Roman at WrestleMania. That is a match that books itself. Oh, it's not BC. BC wouldn't be here, man. BC's too good for this. BC does what he does. He doesn't hang around on YouTube all the time like a geek. He talks about the shows, he uploads, and then he goes and does what he's got to do. I apologize to BC TV, man. Hey, take it as a compliment. You know how many people say that BC's ripping me off and I'm ripping BC off, man? It's fucking laughable. It really is. Nobody rips each other off. People can have the same fucking opinions, okay? Anyway, guys, I'm getting out of here. I'm exhausted after a 13-hour live stream for the Black Ops Cold War beta last night, and then this. Man, oh man, do I need fucking sleep. Speaking of which, follow me on Twitch, man. Twitch.tv/JD from New York. I'll be streaming the beta on Sunday night. I want a big hangout. Follow me on Twitch, man. That's the video game side of things for what I do. Follow me on Twitter, man, at JD from NY206. That's on Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for notifications. We are 50 away from 1,000 likes. Hit that thumbs up. Become a part of the JD family here on Off the Script, man. Hit that subscribe button. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. Mouthmasker.com/OTS. Get your black masks. In stock now. Bonfire.com. Get your t-shirts. Check out all the other videos that you might have missed on the channel. Links are down below in the description. And thank you guys once again for the super chats, for hanging out with me here. I'll be back this weekend with episode 346 of the podcast, man. Not much going on in the news, but we will have something up for sure. Again, thank you guys for joining me. And I'm about to get out of here. I'll see you guys for episode 336, and then on Twitch for Black Ops, and then back on Monday with a brand new week of content covering Night 2 of the draft. I'm getting in the Mustang. I'm rolling the windows down. I'm blasting the stereo at full volume max. When that guitar solo hits, you know I'm getting out of here, man. Give me those guitar emojis, and I'll see you on Off the Script. Mo Camera with the Canadian 279 Super Chat. Heel or face Roman is still trash. Just like your opinion is trash. Get the fuck out of here, man. I'll see you guys later. Thank you for the Super Chat, by the way.